welcome back to my channel. Oh my goodness, we do not have things set up well at all. So sorry. Oh, here, maybe here. The glasses glare, I'm sorry. Okay, horrible lighting. We're filming at night. It is what it is. So, today we are going to be breaking down and reacting to Hard Boiled, which I was supposed to do last week, but time constraints, and we're cutting it really close this week too. It is currently Thursday night. It is 9:20 at night, and this has to be up for tomorrow by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so pray. Hard Boiled was a 1992 film. I have some opening notes here. We're going to do this one a little differently, and I will I will explain why, but we're going to do this a little bit differently, okay? So we're going to start off with a little bit about the director and lead role. So the director of this movie is John Woo. And when I started doing some background looking into this, I thought, that name is familiar. Why is that name familiar? That is because John Woo directed Hard Target in 1993. It was actually his American debut movie, was Hard Target, with Jean-Claude Van Damme, who back in the 90s, I loved anything he did. He also directed Broken Arrow, which, if memory serves, was John Travolta. And he also directed Face Off, which was also John Travolta and Nick Cage, as well as a whole slew of other movies. But those were the ones that I recognized. This movie, I got Hard Target on the brain now. This movie, Hard Boiled, was John Woo's last movie made in Hong Kong before transitioning to Hollywood. So this whole movie is in Cantonese, okay? I was not ready. I did not know that going into this. And can I also say it took me forever to find a site that the subtitles were actually in sync with the movie. I think I went through 3 or 4 different sites. It took me about a day and a half, and it ended up being on the YouTubes. Go figure. It was grainy. The visuals were not great, but we made do. It was fine. The lead role in this movie, the character's name is Police Inspector Tequila Yen. What a nickname. I love it. Tequila is like one of my favorite liquors. This role is played by Chow Yun Fat, who I thought, again, I know that name. Where do I know that name from? He was a huge name in Hong Kong, having 3 Hong Kong Film Awards for Best Actor and 2 Golden Horse Awards for Best Actor. His claim to fame in Hong Kong was a political drama called The Story of Wu Veit, I don't know, in 81. His Hollywood debut was The Replacement Killers in 1998, and that is where I know him from. Probably the only thing I know him from. That I only saw once, and I recall it being a fantastic frickin' movie. He was also in Anna and the King in 1999. And he was in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End in 2007. And don't ask me what part he played. I have no friggin' idea. My impression of this movie was that it is a very typical 90s action flick, with never-ending ammo, lots of shit exploding. Listen, whoever did the explosions and stuff in this movie rival who's the one that did the Transformers, that director. He's the one that does all the explosions and stuff, right? He rivals this guy. Okay, insane the amount of explosions. I have to say there were some very interesting, stylistic, shall we say, transition choices. I'm hoping that I can put some in here, for example, but yeah. I have to mention the jazz bar. There is something about, call me racist, I don't know, whatever. There is something about seeing Asian people in a jazz bar. I mean, listen, I'm a huge jazz fan, okay, huge jazz fan. You just don't see that. I was kind of confused for a moment, but I love it. Listen, he played hard on the clarinet. Good for him. I love me a good clarinet, okay? But I wasn't taken aback, just saying. Also, I need to ask, and we will iterate again later, but what the fuck is with the toothpick? We'll get there. The fuck is with the toothpick? And yes, this movie is entirely in Cantonese, and I was not ready for it. Anyways, that is the stuff that I found out after the movie. So, diving into the actual movie. And like I said, this is going to be a little different. I couldn't go into as much detail about the goings on in the movie because it is in Cantonese. It was really hard to keep up with the subtitles, and I'm going to be honest, I blanked out in spots. Like, not to say that it was a bad movie. It was just really, really, really hard to keep up on. And really hard to write a script for, hence why it's taken me like a whole extra week. Okay, I'm sorry. I did my best. Anyways, the movie begins with a shootout in a tea house where Inspector Tequila Yen, who is a maverick-type cop who also loves jazz, he confronts a gang of illegal arms dealers. Naturally, the operation goes sideways, and Tequila's partner dies, which sends him off on a mission of vengeance. We learn that Tequila is an overbearing and instinctive type cop. As a result, he often clashes with his superiors. Meanwhile, we are introduced to Alan, an undercover cop who is in deep cover, like deep, deep cover, within a violent arms smuggling group, triad, run by Johnny Wong. Now, the way they talk about triads, it's like they're I always thought triad was like I don't know, the Chinese mafia or some shit like that, right? Like it was like one group. No. The triad is like a bunch of groups of gangsters. At least that's how they kind of explain it in this movie. Alan is towing the line between his loyalty to the law and surviving in the criminal underworld, going so far as to perform a hit on a rival triad leader to prove his allegiance to Johnny. As we move forward, the investigation leads Tequila to start suspecting Alan, unaware of his true identity. Their first meeting was batshit and stupid tense. However, they do eventually form a bit of an alliance after discovering they're on the same side, though they don't trust each other at all. Okay? It's a very, very tense relationship. What happens next is a series of highly energetic action fight scenes with very interesting transitions. As we enter the final half of the movie, We are in a hospital where Johnny has hidden a massive weapons cache. Like, this type of thing would had to have been built at the same time the hospital was built. Like, it's just, the whole premise of this movie is bad shit, okay? It's so very Mission Impossible kind of outlandish stuff, right? It is kind of cool, though. He also plans to eliminate all witnesses, including doctors and the little babies. It's very, very tense. Alan and Tequila decide to launch an insane assault on the facility, which leads to an epic shootout. Again, with the transitions. I have a big problem with the transitions. It took me so out of the movie. They really did. As the movie concludes, Alan confronts Johnny and gets shot while saving hostages. With Tequila's help, he fakes his own death in order to evade the consequences of his undercover life and try to start over. Meanwhile, Johnny is finally killed by Tequila. As everything settles and life goes on, we see Tequila playing his clarinet in a jazz bar, seemingly at peace, though we can see the emotion of lost friends and the toll of seeing the blurred line between justice and violence. We then see Alan living on a boat, finally free, but isolated, living alone with everything that he has done. It's actually a very sad movie. I mean, never mind the action and all that stuff. I mean, it is a very, very sad movie. From what I could gather of it, again, the movie is entirely in Cantonese, and I was having the hardest time keeping up with the subtitles and just keeping my attention. And again, a lot of that was to do with the captions, which usually I don't have a problem with. But these ones I really kind of did. But also, these transitions would just pull me right out of the movie. And I just... I don't know, glitch out? Like, it was really hard. It was really hard to pay attention. But I did get, from what I gathered, I did get that although, you know, these people are very, I mean, they're very untrusting. They're very, you know, even Tequila was very, you know, he relied on himself. He didn't trust his fellow officers. He certainly didn't trust his boss. Like, you know, and then you had, I already forgot his name. Alan, who was so deep undercover that he didn't even know what side he was on anymore, right? Like, I mean, it was just crazy. And then to end up, you know, actually alone and completely isolated, which is what he had been living with while living under deep cover, right? Like, I mean, listen, I have family that are police, like on the police force. And I have family that have done undercover work, and it's scary and it's lonely, and it's definitely not something that I could do. Definitely not. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, I did enjoy the movie. It was, like I said, very hard to keep my attention. It was hard to focus. The transitions and the subtitles were just two things that were too distracting. You know, if it was one or the other, I think I would have fared better, but it kind of got the best of me. I'm so sorry. But I do highly recommend watching it. It is a good movie. It's just a little bit too much for me. I've seen other work that this director has done, and he is a fantastic director. Or at least in the 90s he was. So, having said that, I will link down in the description where you can watch this. I do recommend it. It is a good movie. So yeah, until the next one, take care of yourself, and we'll talk later.